Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Kane here to teach you about author's purpose. When you're reading, it's always important for you to figure out the author's purpose for writing, and his or her attitude toward the topic he or she is writing about. Since the author doesn't usually come out and say it, the reader must look for hidden meanings, sort of like a detective. A good reader thinks about the words the author uses to help him make his or her point. When possible, it is helpful for the reader to think about the author's life and what events might have made him or her feel a certain way. Let's look back to what you might already know. The pie method. Perhaps you've learned before that the answer to the question, why did the author write this piece, is to look for pie, persuade, inform, or entertain. Did the author give you a piece of persuasion pie? Was he or she trying to change your mind, make you do or believe something? Did the author slice you up a piece of informational pie? Did he or she share information with you or teach you something new? Maybe he or she taught you how to do something. Or maybe the author was simply feeding you a yummy, gooey piece of entertainment pie. Did they try to make you laugh, allow you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the story? Let's take a look at an example and see if we can figure out the author's purpose for writing. Tourism that takes responsibility for the protection of cultural tradition and land is called ecotourism. As ecotourists, we should be aware of the impact that we have on the places that we visit. To ensure that future generations can enjoy these places as much as we do, we must be sure to use resources like water and electricity wisely. We must also respect and support the cultural traditions of the places we visit. In this way, these places will maintain the qualities that made them unique in the first place. Okay, to determine author's purpose, I like to begin first by determining what it is not. This paragraph is not to entertain. I know that because of the text features and how it reads. There is no dialogue in here, and there's no figurative language, which I would typically see in a piece that's trying to entertain me. It also reads like a piece of nonfiction, so I can automatically dismiss the author's purpose as being to entertain. Now that I've eliminated one author's purpose, I have to figure out if the author's purpose is to inform or to entertain. I can see that the author's teaching us about ecotourism here, and so the author definitely wants us to learn something. However, I also see phrases like we must, we should be, we must be. And this clues me into the idea that the author is telling me to do something. This is a good time to tell you that the author's purpose is always one of these three pieces of pie. It is not multiple. So we can't have to inform and persuade. It's one or the other. So you can see here that the author is telling us to do something with we should be, we must be, we must. We have a piece of persuasion pie. Once you've decided what piece of pie the author has given you, now you have to look for the author's attitude toward the topic they're writing about. This requires you to ask yourself some questions, like, has the author presented all sides of the argument or issue? Is the article balanced toward all points of view, or does it weigh toward one point of view? Are there facts for each side? Can we trust what the author says? And is the author being fair? And finally, does the author show emotion like anger, excitement, sadness through adjectives he or she uses in their writing? So this requires you, the reader, to put on your detective hats again. Let's take a look at the example we used before. We determined that the author's purpose was to persuade us. Now let's see what their attitude is toward the topic they were writing about. This are that we should be aware of our impact that we have on the places that we visit. We also see, future generations can enjoy the place as much as we do. We should be cognizant of water and electricity that we use. And we also have, we must respect and support the cultural traditions of a place that we visit. When we take these phrases into consideration, we can see that the author thinks ecotourism is a good idea and feels positively about ecotourism. So, I'd say that the author's attitude toward this topic of ecotourism is that he or she is appreciative toward the topic. Okay, so once we have the full picture of the passages we're reading, both the piece of pie and the author's attitude, we're on our way for understanding why an author has written the piece that we've read. I hope you have a better idea of how to find author's purpose in the future, and thank you for watching.